Good afternoon, ITBOG. Thanks for joining us. We are joined today with Al Alper. Al, tell me about PIIGuard 360. I always want to say PIIGuard, but it's PIIGuard 360. And Carmela, Carmela works with Al. So Carmela, you do the demos as well. I understand you're really good at these demos.
She's awesome. She is awesome.
That's
Most people like to look at her over me anyway. So,
well, I'm excited to learn. I'm really excited to learn about the new platform, PIIGuard, and I'm going to have to mentally teach myself. It's PIIGuard.
So to be fair, most of our partners call it PIIGuard.
PIIGuard, okay.
That seems to be easier for them. I always say PIIGuard because it's an acronym, but that's just me. And I've given up trying to correct anybody. So they want to call it PIIGuard, they can call it PIIGuard, whatever makes them happy.
Well, what does PIIGuard stand for? I think
so. Let's see. So PII stands for personally identifiable information in compliance speak. Mm-hmm. It's that aggregate of information that you as an IT service provider, MSP, MSSP, whatever, are supposed to be protecting from breach and from exfiltration. And so PIIGuard, as the name implies, we guard personally identifiable information. We take the platform itself. If you sort of think of the cyber stack, and you and I may have spoken about this in the past, a lot of MSPs and IT providers, they fill up their stack with next-gen protection and UTMs and web and DNS and spam. And these are all parts of the technology stack that the end users, their clients, their CEOs and their users never see, touch, don't know anything about until something hits the fan. And then they know it's there, right? And then they want to know why it didn't do the job it was supposed to do. So that's one part of the stack overall. The other part of the stack that we focus on with PIIGuard is we call it the sensory stack, because it's the elements of your overall tool suite that people interact with. One or more of their senses interact with this. They touch it, they see it, and to some degree they feel it in the way they interact with it. And so we call that the sensory stack. Okay. And that's what PIIGuard is designed to do. That it's designed really to elevate the security posture of the overall enterprise by elevating the awareness level of both the culture of our clients as well as their users and the way they interact every day. And so it's a terrific platform in that regard.
Well, great. Well, I am excited to learn more about it. Well, Carmela, how long have you been working for PIIGuard?
Nice.
Well, actually, I have joined the company not so long ago. It's just early part of this year, but I'm definitely loving it.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
She's doing a great job. I will say that our partners give her accolades. Don't tell her that; her head will get too big. It won't fit on the screen anymore. But she does a great job.
Gotcha. Well, I'm excited to learn more. I've heard lots of great things about it. So, well, take it away.
So before we get started, let me make note that there is a chat. Is the Zoom chat available, Scott? Or is it just a Facebook chat that's available?
It's just a Facebook chat.
All right, so I will attempt to monitor the Facebook chat so I can answer any questions. So if you guys have questions, just feel free to chat away. In Facebook, I'll be logged in a moment while Carmela is doing that, and then she'll just go through the platform, sort of the way we onboard a partner. So our process, and I don't want to monopolize the conversation, but the way our process works is when a partner first signs up, we call our customers partners, right? Because we're a partner in the success of their organization as they both make their clients' companies and themselves more secure, but also as we're able to help them significantly increase their overall revenue stream, MRR, by giving them the tools to do that in an effective and engaging way. And so we call them partners because we help. I want them to be multimillionaires so that they're paying me millions. right? So I am a capitalist at heart, and the more money they make because of us, the more money they spend with us. So I want everybody to make money in this equation. It actually is a win-win situation. So when someone signs up, and we have for $1 you kick the tires, we call it, and it's 30 days to try it out, see if you like it. And then after that, it's $99 a month for your partner fee. And we'll get into pricing a little later on. But what happens during that 30-day window, you're going to get 3 or 4 emails in the first half a day. One of those is to book your onboarding call, and you'll speak to one of our account managers like Carmela. And that onboarding call, which is what we're sort of going to simulate here, is walking you through every step of the platform and how to make money with it. Because ultimately, any tool that you're spending money on that you're not making money with is something you're going to invariably discard. And you should, frankly. If you're not making money with us, you should cancel your subscription, but you should be making money with us. We've got literally partners that make 6 figures a year using our platform. So there's definitely ways to do it. How to do that, it depends on your market, depends on what you do, and we can talk more about that. But on that note, I'm actually going to stop the video and mute, otherwise I'll never shut up. And then I'll let Carmela take it away.
Sounds perfect. Thank you so much, Al. And thank you again, Scott, as well as IT Business Owners Group for inviting us. And what I'm going to do is I'll provide a high-level overview presentation of our cybersecurity and compliance platform, which is the PIIGuard360. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'll start to share my screen if Scott is going to allow me to do so.
I think I have that.
Okay.
See if it will let you.
Sounds great. Maybe one more try and see if it's going to work now.
Okay, try it again. And I think we got it this time.
Awesome. I think we do. All right. So can you confirm that you can see my screen?
Perfect.
Fantastic. Hold on a sec. Let me just go ahead and turn off my video for a second so that it's not gonna distract me in any way, and I'm gonna minimize this. Okay, all right, so I guess we're on. So this is the platform of PIIGuard360. So what I do is I'm gonna log in, and you'll see that we're gonna be going inside a demo account, okay? So it's my demo account, and all of our partners would have access to the platform like this. So easily you're going to see that you have 2 access in the platform. So you're going to have the partner access, which is this, which basically our partners is going to be doing all those managing their clients in here. But at the same time, they'll have access. So when they toggle to the manager view, which is this, that means that they do have the client manager view as well. Meaning to say, as a partner, they also get the chance to push this out internally within their organization. They can provide training to their company. They can also do the simulated phishing. They can do the risk assessment, the dark web monitoring, push out policies and procedures, and all those good stuff. So we're going to talk about that in a bit, but I'll go ahead and go back to the partner dashboard. Okay, so first thing that as a partner, they do have access to the prospecting tools right here. So they can have their prospects in the platform. Think of it like you're going to have a database wherein you can easily look out and track all those clients or prospects that you're going after. Okay. You have the prospecting tools available for you to make your life easy. The number one of which is the cyber assessment tool. Okay, so the cyber assessment tool, which is actually a lot of our partners think that this is the risk assessment tool, which basically this is not. This is different. Okay, so the cyber assessment tool is a sales tool so that this is going to help the partner to get a surface look at what kind of culture their prospect has around cybersecurity and what kind of IT that they have in place. Okay, this goes, it has 36 questions, and it really runs through and dive deep and help them highlight the kind of services that they provide without bad mouthing their existing. Because for all you know, especially if you're working on a small, medium-sized client or company, they probably might be working with a best buddy in college as their IT, right? Or maybe a brother-in-law. So after they actually utilize the cyber assessment tool, they're going to get a report as well, which looks like this. So they're going to get this answer to the questions. Okay, so this is a tool for the partner so that it provides them, the answer to all those things that they've uncovered to a prospect. But at the same time, you're going to get this white labeled report like this, which is the cyber risk assessment, which basically something that the partner can provide to their prospect. Okay, so it runs through the questions and it's going to provide them the recommendation.
Okay.
Now, another tool that's available is the dark web search.
So let me just jump in for a second, if you don't. So the cyber assessment tool, first and foremost, our prospecting tools integrate with CRMs like Infusionsoft as an example. So you can run a cyber assessment campaign or a dark web search campaign using Infusionsoft as a CRM to blast it out there, and it will automatically integrate with PIIGuard to populate that and populate answers, and also to upload data back into Infusionsoft if you use that. The cyber assessments tool itself is actually a multi-step campaign that a lot of what our partners use it for is a way to weed out drive-by, passers-by, people who are price shopping, if you would.
Sure.
So there's a gated process. We actually have a copy of the campaign in the resources section of the platform. And this questionnaire, which is typically done through an interview process, and you do that over the phone. Like as I tell our partners, don't waste time going there, because the purpose of this really is to have a conversation on the phone, and you don't ask it in the form of question 1, tell me this, question 2, tell me that. You do it more conversationally, so that because what you're trying to do is gain trust. You're trying to gain enough trust that they're going to let you into their network and do the next phase of this. So this is really designed as a way to build trust with your prospects and then generate revenue on the other side of that. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to interrupt you there.
Thanks, Al. All right. And then another tool that's available for partner is what we call the dark web search. Okay. So as a partner, you get 50 searches per month where you can plug in a domain, and it's going to give you the 50 most recent scans for that domain that you run. So why don't we go ahead and try this out? Scott, do you have any domain that you want me to run for you?
Sure, you can try support. The email is support@itbog.org, or just itbog.org is the domain.
Okay, itbog.org.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you just, plug in a domain or company name and then hit on search dark web. So once it fills up, you'll notice that we display the passwords into 2 ways. Sometimes we're going to see 3 hash preceding the password, and sometimes we're going to see like this one, 3 hash, and sometimes you're going to see a 3 asterisk preceding the password. Okay. But as you can see, you're going to get this high-level summary right away. You'll know when you plug in a domain, what is the number of exploits found for this particular domain or email. Okay. You'll also get into the details as far as, based on the exploits, there's a 1 password exposed, 2 emails exposed, and it came from 2 origins, but the total personal identifiable information exposed is about 16. Right?
Wow. Okay. Maybe we shouldn't have done this one for the live demo.
Yeah, but actually, so going back to my point, regarding the password. So if well, I'm actually hoping that there's so much more, which, which is not a good thing, right? But anyway, the reason for that is because, I was actually hoping that there's 3 asterisks preceding password, because that means we can show that password. Okay.
Okay.
If it's showing the 3 hash, it means that it's just a long encryption and the password isn't really exposed. And that's why if you see on the risk score, even though the password
Low.
is exactly, it's still low, right? Now, when you get into your prospect or with your client, it's actually a good discussion to have where you can open it up with, let's say, a password hygiene or password manager. Most
Okay.
especially, if you're reselling one like LastPass or Keeper, right? So you
Okay.
can tell them that, how this impact their risk score and how they're actually protecting their business or their company as well, right? But to
Okay.
my, let's just imagine, that there's 3 hashed in here. So the way for you to actually show the password is that there's an option here. So it says clear. So if you hit on that and hit the search, which obviously we're not going to get anything, but suppose, that those 3 asterisks, that's going to show the password. So
Okay.
that then you as a partner or you as an MSP, you go in here and you analyze the data. And what you're looking for would really be commonalities, right? So go in here, you look for users who've been using the same password over and over again. Or, maybe passwords that can easily be cracked, right?
Okay.
Maybe there are also times wherein there actually users are using their business emails to domains that they shouldn't. And again, it's posing so much risk for the company, right? But also to highlight the PIIs. So sometimes you see, so this number right here, this represents the number of PII disclosed, okay?
Okay.
If you click on that, you'll show, so this one shows 6. So these are the 6 information that's disclosed. Because as we all know, hackers are not just after passwords or email that they can, crack or that they can acquire. But at the same time, they're also looking for information that they can easily sell to the black market or identity that they can take over, right? So what you can actually do here is that below, you see that there are 3 different import templates that are available. So you can easily download the report that you've gotten from this search. So if you want all the PIIs to be in there, you download the CSV. Okay. Now, if you download the PDF, it's going to show you this summary right here. And you can easily share this with a prospect or with a client. Okay. Or you can bring this when you meet them in your meeting. Okay. But another thing, that we always tell our partners is that to look for and to review the information that's going to show up here, because you'll really never know what's going to show up. So here, as you can see, it's white labeled. It's going to have your logo in here. It'll have the company that you prepared this for and when you did it. And then you focus your discussion on the high level information right here, because I bet if you start scrolling down, you're going to slowly lose the attention of your audience, because then they're going to be looking for where their information is.
Sure.
And then at the same time, again, we recommend our partners to pay close attention, because you'll never know, sometimes there's some adult sites or dating sites that shows up. Just imagine your husband and wife team and one of them shows in a dating site. I bet the meeting is not gonna go good. Right? And then if you scroll more, you'll have the summary in here and why hackers want your data, why it's important, and all those good stuff. So you're building that value and making your client or prospect realize that this is the reason why it's important and why you should have it. Okay.
Very nice.
All right. So all those prospecting tools is part of the partner plan together with. So if you onboard a client and you click on the plus client here, you can put your unlimited clients, regardless of the number of employees that they have. Okay. And you can provide all of them cybersecurity training. All right. You can even provide them sexual harassment course. We do have 1 hour or 2 hours, depending on the state that you belong and the mandate that they require.
Okay.
And we also have a phishing basic course. Okay. Now I'm going to touch on HIPAA later on a bit. Okay, because that's something special. But for the training that you're going to be able to provide to all of your clients, regardless of the number of users that they have, provide them this. So here you're already providing value add to the service that you're providing to them, because you can provide them a way so that they can protect their information and protect the company in getting at that risk or putting them in a situation where a phishing attack is going to happen, right?
Okay.
So you can even select when they want or when you want them to retake the training. So we've got 12, 20 hours, or you want them to do it one and done. And we do have this, what we call an ongoing security shorts that goes out every week. It's every Thursday. And the purpose of this is that this is designed to keep awareness top of the mind of the employees so that they're ever vigilant. Okay. And then you can even activate newsletters, because every month we're going to be pushing out newsletter to this platform as well. And you can even allow all your clients to use the platform and track their security incidents. Okay. And there's a report feature which they can actually pull up to be able to see, okay, was there any incident or security incident that happened last year or this year? So they can really pull up that information right away. And then lastly, they can also use the platform to enable document section, wherein they can allow the company or their client to have a platform wherein they can upload their documents. So say, for instance, they have contracts or they have forms or anything, that they push out to their people, so that everything is in just one centralized system and everything is tracked in one location, right? But you can also push this document templates to them, and this can be customized as well. So all those things that I discussed, you can, as a partner, provide to all your clients, regardless of the number of employees that they have. And it's just the partner fee that you're actually paying, which is the $99 per month.
Okay.
Right? Now, the only time that you're going to be charged additional is if you turn on the paid feature, which are below. But the fee is flat rate. It's just a flat fee, and it's very simple. So it's based on the number of users of your client. Okay. Say, for instance, this client that we're putting in the platform, that they're going to need something on the policies and procedures. You want to push this out, okay, so that they can have their employees acknowledge, view, and have a way to easily pull up a report when an auditor comes in. Okay. Now you can also activate the risk assessment. So we do have the NIST 800-171, which is the security risk assessment. We also have the HIPAA risk assessment. Okay. So you can also turn on dark web monitoring so that it continuously guard the domain of that company and put in up to 5 personal emails here as well. Now, if there's any breach found, what's going to happen is this bell icon right here, you're going to be notified. At the same time, you're to be able to have the manager of your client get the notification as well. So you guys are really being proactive. Okay. Now you can also activate the simulated phishing and even have the folks who either click the link or submitted the data, because those are the ones who's considered who failed the test, that you created, and even activate the Azure AD integration. So all these paid features right here is just based on the number of employees per client. So say, for instance, this client that we're putting in the platform, they only have 20 employees. okay, then that's just going to be additional $25 per month. And you can activate all of those features already. Okay.
Okay.
The reason why HIPAA is different is because if they needed, whether it's the HIPAA training, it's the HIPAA policy, or the HIPAA risk assessment, it's 2x. So instead of 25, if they have 20 or below employees, it's going to be $50. Or say, for instance, your second client, they have 200 employees, and you know that you wanted to provide those added features to them, it's just going to be $55 per month. Or if they needed the HIPAA, it's just 110. Okay.
Okay.
The only item on the feature that we allow our partner to turn on as standalone is the dark web monitoring. So if this is the only feature they needed, nothing else, instead of 25, if they're below 20, it's just going to be $9 per domain per month. Okay. And also to note on the pricing, since this platform is built by an MSP for MSP, everything is just month to month. There's no contract, there's no minimum. If
Great.
you, yep, if you don't see value to, you know, what this platform is providing, you can just let us know and you're not going to be billed for that. Or say, for instance, a month or two, a client backs out, you can just simply uncheck the box and you're not going to be billed for that. Okay. And a lot of our partners are really utilizing this platform as revenue generating, because like what I said, you know, the paid features right here, they can be activated, everything, and it's just flat fee. But it doesn't mean that you can stick with that price, right? So let's say on the first month, you provided them the training, you provided them the free cybersecurity training and, you know, the security shorts, so that you can educate the employees regarding the threat and the attacks and what it looked like, right? Now you go in and you tell your client that, hey, you know what, maybe this time it's about time that we validate if they're really learning whatever it is that they have taken on the training. Let's go ahead and turn on the simulated phishing and see who's gonna, you know, who's gonna fail, or who still needs reinforcement training, right? Or let's turn on dark web. The reason it's designed to be turned on as you go is because it's up to you to turn it on whenever you think your client needs it. Okay, so that when you price it, let's say during the first or second month, you just turn on the simulated phishing and they're below 20 employees, you provided them and bill them for, let's say, $25 for that particular month. And then the next month, they wanted to do the dark web and they wanted to do the policies and procedures. Okay, then you can charge them additional, let's say, $25 more per month. So that additional $25 is already revenue generating for you. Okay.
Nice.
Al, do you
Very
want to
nice.
add anything to it?
Yeah, the beauty of that is, if you think about it for a moment, you know, where other platforms, you're not given that for two things. In other platforms, you're not given the opportunity to customize what you're delivering without changing your underlying expenses, your underlying cost basis. We're giving you the entire platform for that fee. You decide what you turn on and off. So as an example, we'll have a partner who will turn on simulated, or they'll use security training as a way to expose that users are risky. And Carmela, grab one of the training reports so you can show people what that looks like. So they'll use the training report that they've given away. They'll use training sort of as a loss leader, because as Carmela said, training is included. Unlimited training is included in your partner fee. And so you can give it to 1,000 prospects with 1,000 customer users each, and your partner fee never changes. You use the reports now to upsell. So now you take this prospect that you were giving training to, or even a client that you may be delivering MSP services to, gave them training, showed them that their users were putting their company at risk, and said, okay, now you need simulated phishing and you need dark web monitoring and you need this. You turn on one of them or you turn on some of them, you charge for that fee. Then you expand the footprint of the services you deliver. So maybe upstream selling dark web monitoring, or you turn on simulated phishing and then you let's see how people fall for it. And let's say you're going to pay $25 for that client up to 20 users. You identified that 30% of the users fall for phishing. You now go back to that client and say, listen, 30% of your users are falling for phishing. If they're doing it when they know we're phishing them, imagine what they do when they're going home. Let's do dark web monitoring. And I'm going to charge you X for that. Your cost basis hasn't changed with me, but you can upsell now. And so you upsell the other elements of the platform without ever changing how much you're paying for that client. That's the real value proposition, because you can use this to, we call it laterally move, right? You can move laterally. Think about football for a moment. I'm a football fan. So when you move lateral, you get basically going across the plane of services that we're giving you to deliver, and we're not changing how much you're paying for that. But you get to upsell for each element of that as you go along, if that's what you choose to do. Some people bundle it into an all-you-can-eat or all-in-seat pricing service, and they just add X number of dollars for the quote-unquote security package, and they just bundle everything into it. We quite literally have partners making six figures with this platform.
That's great.
Exactly. Yep. And to Al's point, regarding reports, so you have all these reports available to you. Okay. And yeah,
jump into resources and take a look at the one of the sample reports in there. So resources is where we have marketing campaigns, training videos, and other things available to you to both learn how to use the platform and how to market it and how to sell it. So if you go down to marketing material, there'll be some things in there about. So here's some marketing material, there's some sample reports. So just open up the CPA report as an example. Here's an example training report that you would use, that you can take this training that we're giving you as part of your fee. Whether you charge for it or not is up to you entirely. For instance, we've got partners who are today giving it away to chambers of commerce as a way to significantly increase their lead flow. And then they build the top of their funnel with that. Make sense? Then they take that with the training and they take this report to the prospect and they say, why don't you shrink the screen a little bit? So shrink the size of that so we can see. Do me a favor, close your Outlook, please, so we don't get the pop-ups. Thank you. Okay. So if you take a look at this report, just scroll up and down on the report a little bit. So this is the report that we generate from the platform. And the key to this is they're using this both in terms of the course that they'll take. And then if you scroll up a little bit more, you'll see that is there an attentive page on this one? Scroll down, if you would. Okay. So this is an attentive. So there's two elements to training, right? There's a course that you'll take, that your users will take or give away or whatever. And then there's the ongoing weekly shorts. All of this is included in your partner fee. And so we're using the business intelligence out of that to demonstrate how vulnerable your company is based on your employees. We call it the Employee Vulnerability Index. They're going to get a score for training, which, to be frank with you, because it's self-paced, web-based, most people will pass it. And they'll pass it because they'll take their time, they can look things up, they can ask somebody, whatever the case may be. But we also track what's happening with the weekly video emails that go out. We call that employee attentiveness. Are they paying attention, yes or no, to those emails, those videos? Scroll back up, if you would, to the EVI score. And that creates, one more page, that creates this EVI score. How secure are your employees relative to you? And it's on a FICO-like score from 300 to 850, because most people are very familiar with FICO. And so this tells you how well or not well is more likely the case your employees are exposing you to risk. This document, which is automatically generated out of the platform, is what you take to your process. Say, listen, this is what this is how risky your employees are and how they're making you exposed.
So I can already see the subject line to your clients. Are your employees putting your company at risk?
There you go. Exactly. And then you take this report and say, listen, here's what we need to do. We need to catch them before they leak information on the dark web. So why don't we do some simulated phishing and training to them, and let's see how well, and now you sell them that. Then they get caught in some phishing, and then you sell them dark web monitoring. Then they do that. You start to see how you can expand your
Sure.
revenue footprint, beginning with the free included training.
Mhm.
And you do it one element of the platform at a time.
Nice. No, it's very comprehensive.
Awesome. And we have sample reports in here, so a lot of our partners use all those sample reports, and they're for different types of industries. So that there's sample reports that you can take and show, listen, this is what we're going to do, and this is why we want to do it. We want to show you how exposed or not exposed your employees are making you as a company. How are they putting you at risk? And so having sample reports there are just collateral for the MSPs to use to engage their client who they perhaps have not engaged in training before, or engaged prospects. So as I said, we've got partners today who are using this with associations to build their sales funnel. So they're giving away the training, because you can use the Infusionsoft integration to build the prospects, and then give away the training, and then use these reports to then upsell to the individual prospects. Look what your employees are doing.
So I do have a quick question for you. You keep mentioning
Shoot.
Infusionsoft. Do you work with any other, do you integrate with any other CRMs? HubSpot,
Not right
or anything
now.
like that? Okay.
Not right now.
Is that is that in the works?
It is on the roadmap.
Okay.
We went with Infusionsoft because that is perhaps the biggest one in the MSP space today.
Sure.
Which is why we work with them today, but we are expanding that later on this year to work with, we'll probably work with HubSpot and Zoho and a few others.
Okay. Excellent.
Awesome. Any other questions you have here, Scott? Or anything else you want to show Carmela?
Sure.
Well, did we talk, I was going to say, did we talk about the HIPAA module?
Sure. Well, we could talk about that. So as far as in the HIPAA, and let me just exit out the resources tab here. Okay. So for the HIPAA, we do have either the HIPAA training courses. Okay. And again, it's here under the subscription. So you can easily so everything that you would like to turn on to your client is just as easy as checking the box.
Okay.
Okay. So you see here, we have the HIPAA training course. We have HIPAA specific training, HIPAA policies and procedures as well. And we also have the HIPAA risk assessment. Okay. So all those things are part of the HIPAA module. And again, if you needed the HIPAA module, it's going to be depending on the number of the users of your client. But not only HIPAA that you're going to get, you also have the opportunity to turn on all the other features as well.
So the HIPAA module is very specific about HIPAA. Anybody who knows the security rule, there are 3 elements to the security rule. Why don't you go over to a risk assessment to show that, if you would, Carmela.
Okay.
So the risk assessments, the platform includes a full risk assessment module. The risk assessment module is comprised of just a NIST-based risk assessment or a HIPAA security risk assessment. It's very specific to HIPAA. It speaks to the 3 elements. There's the privacy, there's the breach, and there is I'm missing one of them there. Thank you for security. Thank you. I knew it would hit me eventually. So this is tailored and updated regularly as the regulation itself is updated. So if you think about the NIST-based risk assessment, that's not updated all that frequently. The HIPAA risk assessment is updated at least annually, more like semi-annually as they come out with clarifications year end. There's a big update that's done in January. So when we released this risk assessment, we did this in February following the update to January. There'll be a clarification window, June, July, August. We'll clarify some of the elements of this and update it. Then we'll do this all over again next year as HIPAA goes through that. So HIPAA is more dynamic as an assessment, and therefore it's more money, because we actually keep a licensed HIPAA individual on retainer who does this for us, who actually goes through the regulation, goes through the diligence, and makes sure that the questions we're asking comport with the reg and the subsections of the regulation.
Excellent.
Make sense? And the training is specific for HIPAA, the policies are specific for HIPAA, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And since we're here at the risk assessment, so what happens is that, so say for instance, you turn on this feature for your client, all right? So after this Q&A based risk assessment is done, what's gonna happen is it will be shown on the partner dashboard here, okay? So you as a partner, you go in here and you'll have an idea, okay, who are my clients who already finished the risk assessment? And you can easily click on the view here and you'll get all these readily available reports, all right?
Okay.
So you'll have this executive summary, which is in Word document, and I'm gonna show you an example of this one. So this actually, and again, this is white label. So this shows the summary of the findings together with, you'll have the risk score right here, okay? And because the risk assessment is based on identify, detect, and protect, it's also gonna talk about the individual items together with the different questions per category. So you'll have your finding in here, you're gonna have the recommendation in there, all right? The reason why this is in Word document is because we allow our partners to have that flexibility to be able to customize it depending on, you know, the needs and the requirements of their clients. Because we know no one else know your client's risk tolerance more than, you know, you guys, right? So you'll have the opportunity to modify that. And then you're going to get your poem, which is in Excel format. And again, you know, the reason why it's in Excel is because so that you'll have the ability to edit or to modify this before you submit it to your client. And this is a sample of the poem and how it looks like. All right. So again, it's part of the risk assessment feature. If you go through it, you'll automatically generate.
Just shrink it a little bit so we can see the whole thing.
Okay.
If you would. So if you look at the layout of in NIST speak, it's called the POEM, the Plan of Action and Milestones. In layman's terms, it's a work plan. This basically what happens is when you go through a risk assessment and you click submit, you'll do it with a client. It will automatically generate the risk report and the work plan. And that's done it's made available to you as the partner instantly. So when you finish with a client, it's instantly available to you on that pop-up screen. And you can download the Word document of the assessment report. Go back to the Word document for a second, please. And then shrink that. And just get a couple of pages on a screen at a time, if you would.
Okay.
So this is instantly generated for you. The reason it's in a work plan is because we provide for you recommendations. Scroll down if you would. So we provide we give you a score predicated on the answers to that. Scroll down, and then we actually, here's where we make some recommendations for you. This comports with that work plan that we talked about. Scroll down a little bit more. And we'll go through the three areas: identify, protect, and detect. There is a threat impact measure. And what that is, that's something you fill out. We actually have, go to the pop-up for a second, if you would, from the platform. So scroll up. See where it says completing the threat matrix. So that's a help document on what you do with that threat matrix, because that's something that you're going to fill in that you use. Shrink it a little bit. Yep. That's basically, it's something that you're going to fill in as a way to demonstrate to your client or prospect what the risks to the organization are using real life scenarios. But you have to make that determination. It's not pre-filled for you because it's a judgment call predicated on the client, how they feel about risk relative to their organization, whether or not there's a compliance envelope that they have to address, such as if they fall under CMMC, or if they fall under DFAR, or if they fall under HIPAA. So those are going to drive that. Scroll down a little bit. Well, that's the end of it. I'm sorry. That's right. This is just the how-to document, right? So that tells you how to fill out. Go back to the Word document. That tells you how to fill out that threat impact matrix. And that's a great talking point to have that speaks to why they got the D that they got. Does that make sense?
And it helps you get their score up.
Absolutely. Because people, to be fair, you're going to sit in on a discussion with a C-level executive. They're not going to read this. What they're going to read is they're going to read that executive summary. Scroll back up to the top, please, if you would, Carmela.
And that D minus.
A D minus. That's what they're going to see. They're going to see that big fat D minus with yellows and reds and say, how do I fix this? Well, Mr. CEO, let's take a look at the work plan. Now that work plan, that's that poem that we said, just call the one up that you downloaded if you would. I think you might have closed the Excel sheet. Anyway, so that work plan, you're going to fill that out too, right? So like you're going to clean up like you're going to clean up that Word document. When I say clean up, you're going to add your own language. You're going to add your own plans. You're going to add your own ideas. Our recommendations are what are best practices or industry standard. That doesn't necessarily mean that's what you're going to do as an MSP. And so that's why they're provided in Word and Excel form, so that you can edit it to meet what you're going to do and what your client's needs are. But in this work plan, which again, this is where you're going to take those recommendations and you're going to take that D and you're going to say, click on any one of those if you would, Carmela. Mm-hmm. And in here is where you're going to, it's a little too small to read, but in here is where you're going to add your information, the recommendations that you're going to do, and start putting times against them. When are you going to do it? How much is it going to cost? This is a sales document. This is what every MSP should take to their client or prospect and say, listen, you got the D. This is what we're going to do to make it an A.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So is that very common for new onboarded clients to get D, F to fail these parts? I mean, is that pretty standard?
Depending on the industry you're in. So if you think about security for a minute, security, we talk about layers of security. We talk about or three pieces of a security pie, if you would. Most people look at technology as the single biggest hole in the attack surface. Do you have the right endpoint protection? Do you have the right firewall? Do you have the right filtering? Whatever the case may be. The reality is that's the smallest piece of the attack surface. And it's the smallest piece because 9 times out of 10, any IT service provider worth their salt are doing a good job on buttoning that stuff up. They're patching, except for the large enterprises that don't patch things in their operating system, they get the WannaCry. But leaving that alone for a minute, or what was the one that was it Colonial that used a dormant VPN that was never taken down?
Yes, I think so. I heard that.
But the funny thing is, like, you see the perp walk of these large enterprises, and that's because those are the ones who typically don't do the work necessary to keep themselves secure. MSPs generally, by and large, do what they're supposed to do to keep people technologically secure. Where most organizations fall down, where most enterprises fall down, frankly, is in the second biggest piece of the security, the attack surface, if you would, but it's not the biggest piece, and that's people. People, that's why, PIIGuard is designed to solve what we call it securing the human endpoint is our tagline. It's designed to make people more aware and therefore more secure. But the reality is, and one of the reasons why we include risk assessments and policies, I mean, to me, the most important element of this platform is our policy module.
Sure.
And the reason why it's the most important and the most effective piece is because our policy module is what changes the culture of a company. Because the reality is, a company whose culture is insecure, you're never going to get the people to do what they're supposed to do. If the boss doesn't care, what makes you think the employee is going to care?
That's true.
Just a fact.
That's true.
And so the policy module is designed to create, and we've got over 75 policies and procedures in here that are, the way we template it is, with literally 3 clicks of a mouse, you can give all of your clients custom policies that have already been branded with their logo, with their name, with their points of contact. It takes nothing to do that in our platform. And to me, it's quite literally the most important piece. I know that a lot of MSPs love dark web because it's sexy. The reality is this is a money shot, because one of the reasons why we include sexual harassment prevention awareness training is because every state and almost every municipality in North America requires that some form of sexual harassment prevention be trained to the employees by the employer. Every PEO, professional employee organization, will tell you that. Every state in the US and every municipality in Canada, I don't want to say Mexico also because I don't know enough about Mexico to say that, but they all require some form of sexual harassment prevention. We include that in there so that you, the MSP, can offer that to their clients as well. Whether it's for fee or for free is irrelevant. You get it as part of your platforms and your partner fee. But it's a way to get into HR, because once HR sees what the platform can do for them, they'll start using it. I'll give you a quick side story if we have a few moments for it.
Yeah.
So we had a partner in the Midwest. We have a partner in the Midwest, let me be fair. And we got a call from another MSP who wasn't a partner at the time. And they were asking really strange questions about the platform, less about what it did and more about, how can I get data over there? They were asking a lot of questions about data that made no sense for a partner, an MSP who's not a partner of ours. And this goes on for a good 5 or so minutes. And finally, we asked them, what is it you're trying to ask here? Because what you're saying sounds like you use the platform, but you're not a partner. It turns out that this MSP had proposed that they take over this client from another MSP because the client wasn't happy. But the HR department would not let go of this platform. Because they uploaded the employee manual in there, all the OSHA stuff was being put in there that employees had to attest. Everything that the employees had to interface with the company was put in here by HR. And because employees are required to attest to it, and they get a compliance score for attesting to it, and we track and we audit all of that, HR refused to give up the platform.
Wow.
And the only way this client would move is if they could keep the platform. So I said, well, listen, it's the other MSP's data. I can't do that. But if you get them to, think of the data transfer form, if you get them to sign off to transfer your data, we're more than happy to do that. And about a month later they did, and they're a partner and they moved. But that's how powerful this platform is when you penetrate the organization at a cultural level, like human resources. And that's one of the main reasons we include sexual harassment prevention, because it's a required training in every municipality in the country. And therefore now you've got a way to go and give it away. When COVID first hit, so many MSPs were using that as a way to get in and using training as a way to get in. It's a great tool for that.
No, it sounds like, that HR department, they were just in love with the platform so much. I mean, that kept them sticky to the MSP. So, because in all fairness, the old MSP could have said, "No, I'm going to hold on to it." you know,
Exactly.
and they can upload it again if they don't want to work with me. They can do it all their own.
Exactly.
So
It
wow.
it is very sticky in that regard. Unbelievably sticky. So
Right. But
we're writing
also
some really cool stuff this year.
and also to add to that, Al, let me just stress out that these policy templates can be customized. So they're customizable, Scott. Okay. You can see everything got the text editor beside it. So, you know, partner goes in, all they have to do is just go into the policy content, put their cursor, and make the whatever modification that they require.
So while you're there, Camilla, do you see that where it says company name in that double parenthesis? The system is tokenized.
Exactly.
And so that's how we're able to customize the policy. The minute you say assign this to a client, that policy is automatically updated with client information.
It fills in the blanks automatically.
Yeah, automatically. That's why you can distribute it to 100 clients at one time.
So I have a new word for that. We'll call that auto magically.
Auto magically. There you go.
Auto magically.
And yeah, and again, you know, Al already mentioned this. They can upload their other policy in the platform as well. So that's the reason why the plus policy button is here. So they're not stuck with the policy templates that we have. Their clients is not stuck with the policy templates that they push out. Both of them can add their own as well.
Okay. We have partners that have built entire practices around policies. So we have one partner who does it for DFAR, and they built a ton of policies for DFARs, and they use that to push out. So they've done it all. They've done it all with the platform. So we didn't. We do have some DFAR policy now, but at the time we didn't. They built their own. They put them in here, and they distribute them.
That's
Great
beautiful.
stuff.
I do have a quick question. So the dashboard, the MSP would be logged into the dashboard, typically like another tool. And where would you get like when, let's just say, if you sent out a simulated phishing test to your clients, and you got, you know, Sally Sue that clicked on an email and clicked on a link. So you've got that. Where does that come up in the reporting in the dashboard area?
Sure, I can show you that real quick.
And do you have an example of what it would look like?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So you do have two options, okay? As a partner, of course, you've got control on all the phishing campaign summaries of all of your clients,
okay.
All right? But from a client manager perspective, and I'm going to toggle to the manager view, they do have the ability to pull up that report as well, okay? If you add a manager to that particular client. Now going back. So here, and I'm going to show you an example. So when we go to the reports and click on the campaign summaries, and then look for, let's say we want to check the client NECPA, right? You'll see here beautifully all those campaigns that you created, plus the different timestamps. So you'll see when it was launched, how many emails it was sent to, how many emails opened it, who clicked on it, who submitted the data, who enrolled for training, and who completed what. Now,
nice.
Beautiful is that if you click on the view button here, you're going to see it from each user. So you know exactly who's putting the company at risk.
So it gets very granular.
Yeah. Do you have a campaign that was completed that you can, not in a report form, but you can go into phishing and take a look at one? So you can, because the graphics on that are really nice too.
Exactly. So here, so suppose you're creating a phishing campaign, right? So it's just easy. You select how many days it's going to end. 5 is minimum, 15 is max. You can randomize the template as well as the delivery time, or you just select no. And then you can select whether you want this campaign to be one time or recurring. Okay. Now, if you say recurring, you're going to be asked whether you want it every month or every quarter. And then you can select when it's going to go out, between the 1st and the 10th, just an example. And if you select 12, this means that you're creating this campaign for the entire year, and you can create it for all of your clients in just less than 10 minutes, and you're done. So the
Nice.
next ask is whether you want it fixed, easy, medium, or hard, because this is recurring, okay? Or you just want it increasing. Now, let me just back up here. I'm gonna select one time and I'll show you, these are example of the templates that we have. And again, everything would have an easy, medium, and hard. So you can browse through it. And if you want to check, okay, I'd like to check what this phishing campaign look, or how this phishing campaign look. So this is an easy campaign. Obviously, it's something that can easily be identified. The logo is different, there's grammar issue. So this is what the email that the user is going to get. Okay. Now, once they click the link, this is the landing page. So even the submit button is actually different as well. So really, people shouldn't fall for this, right? Now, if you go into the Costco Hard to compare, you'll see that the logo has already been fixed and there's no grammar issue. And even the landing page is already fixed for the sign up. Okay, so people should really take a look at the URL before they click on anything and submit the data. All right, and that's the kind of information and the training is going to talk about as well. And again, if someone fails on any specific campaign, if they fail the easy one, you have the option to automatically assign a training campaign that's specific for easy. So it can be the beginner's course. If they failed the hard one, they're going to get the advanced course. Okay.
Makes sense.
Once you've selected what campaign you're going to use, then you're off to go. You can assign it to a client or many clients, schedule it now, or select a date and time when you want this to go out. If you have someone, so say for instance, Scott, you're creating this, you have a partner who's going to review this, you can save it as draft first so that you have another eyes to look into it before you launch, or you can go ahead and launch the campaign.
Great.
All right.
Very nice.
Yep. And yeah, so again, just quickly, from a client perspective or customer perspective, so someone logs in, they can easily see the policies that they have to acknowledge. It's right in here. They click on it, they read through it, they check the box, submit, and it's going to be removed from this list right here. And then,
all right, I want to be sure I understand one thing here. So Carmela, when the clients utilize this, are they replying to an email, or do they have a login rights as well here?
They have login rights as well.
Okay. So they will actually need to log in.
So one of the things that's really unique about the platform is it's white labeled down to the client. So when a partner logs in, that platform has their logo all over it. Every email comes out of the platform with their name on it. It looks as if it's their platform that's being sent to the client. You have the option as a partner to brand the client portal as well with the client's information and send notifications out of the platform as the client. And we do that because we noticed that when we tested that feature, we had more than 80% higher open rate of emails and more than 80% higher contribution rate, meaning that people participated in the platform more often, over 80% more often than they did when it was coming from the partner or generically. So we brand everything all the way down to the client at the partner's discretion. That's fully in control of the partner. So go back to the edit a client screen for a second, if you would, Carmela. So here's where you'd add the client information, right? I was going to go out to the partner if you would,
Okay.
and then edit the client at the part. So as Carmela said, every MSP also gets their own company as a client, so that their team can take training, they can do a risk assessment, they can distribute
Nice.
policies, they can do phishing.
Mhm.
That's all included in your partner fee. So is a full demo account included in your partner fee. You're not paying extra for all this stuff. So here is where you would choose the communication settings. Whose branding is this going to go out as? Mine as a partner or my client, so that the users interact with more frequency.
Oh, that makes sense.
Make sense?
So if you work for XYZ company as an MSP, if they're one of your clients, then they've got 50 employees. They may not know who the MSP is and maybe less susceptible to working on it. But if you can put that your client at XYZ company's branding up there, then the employee is more likely to click on and engage with it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
I understand.
We brand all the way down, and all that's and all that's included in the partner fee. So it's an awesome platform, as you can tell.
Very well thought out. Yes. Very well
Right.
thought out.
And then lastly, I know we went a little over time already, but again, just want to click on the resources link right here, because just to highlight some of the things that a partner can utilize when they are logged in the platform. So they're going to get access to the training materials. So they'll see, you know, for sure, if they're planning to do something in the platform, they'll find the instruction in here. Okay. How to assign training, how to run a risk assessment, and so on. And then they also have access to the white papers, newsletters, the presentations for webinars and seminars. They can download the PowerPoint, they can edit it.
Nice.
There's just a ton of resources in here and we're adding more and more all the time.
Mhm.
And in fact, the newsletter module that we just released, and we are sending out our first newsletter every month. There's going to be a newsletter that we're going to push to partners that they can send out to their clients.
Nice. That's
that will
another value
automatically
add
go
too.
out with their logo. Yeah, they'll go out to their
Mhm.
clients with their logo, with all that, like everything else. But now it's going to be a newsletter that they can just send out automatically.
Nice.
Right. Yep.
Good.
And then if they wanna watch the past webinars that our awesome CEO did, which is Al, they can look and find it here. So we've got the webinar. This one is very helpful, you know, especially for packaging and pricing their cyber solutions. And then the campaigns. So they have it in here. And then if they get stuck, you know, they just click the 3 lines beside their name. They got the support link right here. It automatically emails our partner support at cyberguard360.com. So before we end this meeting or presentation, I also just want to share. So you've seen the platform, and hopefully, you know, you're able to see the value it brings to you as a partner and for your clients. So if you're ready to jump in, this is our website, PIIGuard360.com. And right now we do have the Kick the Tires special, which is instead of $99 for 1 month, we're waiving it off, and it's just $1 for 30 days. So
Excellent.
that's it.
Take it for a test drive. You don't like it. The interesting thing about us, unlike 99% of the other vendors out there, we're no contracts, no minimums, no kidding. If you don't like it at any point in time, you just send an email to account manager that you want to cancel. It's real
Excellent.
simple. So
Mhm.
we make it really easy to do business with us. I mean, built by an MSP for MSPs. Nobody understands an MSP like an MSP.
That's
and
right.
one of the things that every MSP hates is contracts. Every MSP hates minimums. There's just no way around it. So, you know, we're very MSP friendly in that regard.
Excellent. Well, anything else you want to tell us about it before we wrap it up?
Sign
How
up today.
how about the Facebook group? Let me move this screen over. Do we have any questions on the Facebook group, Al?
I answered a couple of things that were put out there, mostly about the pay. So I've been taking care of that over here. That's why I've been looking over here.
Good deal. All right. Well, I appreciate y'all taking the time to do this. And we'll have to do it again sometime.
Sounds like a plan. We appreciate having you have us. I almost said being had. But
That sounds great. Well, if you have any
All right.
questions, reach out to Al Alper, reach out to myself. Would love to see what we can get going. So
We're in the
thanks.
ITBOG group, so if you have anything, just tag me and I will answer it whether you like it or not.
There you go. All right. Well, y'all have a wonderful day. Thanks so much.
Be good, Scott.
All right,
Thanks
take
again.
care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.